Hello and welcome to the TrueCommerce Advanced Ship Notice and Label webinar training. Just so you know, all participants will be on mute for the duration of this presentation. There will be a question and answer period immediately following. If you have any specific questions related to individual projects, integrations, or errors, please direct them to your project analyst or implementation specialist, as this is just a basic overview. So let's begin. What is the purpose of an ASN? When you send an ASN, you're giving your trading partner information about your shipment time, your shipment quantity, you're giving them tracking information, and also GS1 barcode labels. There's a few different ASN types. We have the standard pack, the pick and pack, and the no pack. A standard pack is the type of ASN you would use if you pack apples in one box and oranges in another box. You keep your items separate and your cartons pure. The pick and pack ASN is for when you mix your items together in boxes. A no-pack ASN is the type of ASN you would send to a trading partner who doesn't need to know how you pack. They just want to know which items you're sending and how many. When we talk about tear versus pack, a tear is really just a fancy word for pallet. So anytime you come across that word while you're using Transaction Manager or EDI, tear means pallet. I have a few ASN examples here ready to go just to show you what they look like. Here's a Bed Bath & Beyond standard ASN. Again, a standard ASN is a pure carton. The hierarchy of a standard ASN is shipment, order, item, and pack. You can see this hierarchy reflected in the raw EDI. Just follow the HL loops: shipment, order, item, and pack. Next, let's take a look at a pick and pack ASN, which will look really similar, but the hierarchy is different. So here we have the shipment level, the order level, the pack, and then the item. Now we have a no-pack ASN, and it's pretty easy to see the difference. We have the shipment level, the order level, and the item. There is no pack information here at all. So you may come across a situation where you're not sure which ASN is appropriate for you. It can get really confusing and overwhelming, but all you need to do is think about how you pack. Do you pack pure boxes? Do you pack mixed boxes? Another good rule of thumb is to simply choose the most basic ASN available. Keep it simple. For instance, if I wanted to send a pallet pick and pack to Home Depot, there are a number of ship notices available. We have probably 9 different pallet pick and packs here. If I wanted to keep it simple, I would look for the pallet pick and pack that does not have a customization. So look closely. We have the pick and pack custom, the pick and pack import, the pick and pack RDC, XDoc, custom P2P. I'm going to choose this one because it is just the bare bones, basic pallet pick and pack, as you can see. So whether it's standard, whether it's pick and pack, whether it's a pallet pick and pack, whatever it may be, go for the most basic one. If your trading partner gets back to you with any feedback saying that they need X, Y, and Z to be different, then we can help you find a more appropriate ASN. But otherwise, this is always a good idea. Just keep it simple. Next, we're going to talk about using a max number. A max number is a feature that helps you break down your carton quantities automatically, and it only works on a standard ASN. And the reason why is because a standard ASN is the only ASN where the system can know for sure how many of which item is in a carton. So before you apply a max number, before it's ever turned on, your ASN will look a lot like this. I have 24 in this carton, I have 4 in this one, 12, and 24. I haven't broken it down yet. This is just exactly reflecting what was on the order. A max number can be applied by going down to Trading Partners, expanding out the partner you're working with, and going to the item setup. Now, before we got started today, I filled in my max number column with the number 4, because in this hypothetical instance, I'm a vendor who can only fit 4 items per carton. I saved my changes and then created a new ASN after the fact so that I could see those changes take place. Here is my new ASN with the max number applied, and let's take a look at how that looks. So as you can see, it broke down all of my cartons by the number 4 automatically. Now this is really, really useful. It can help you to save some time as long as you know how to do it. Okay, so again, this only works for a standard ASN. In a pick and pack or a pallet instance, the system doesn't know how many of one item or another item is in the boxes since everything is mixed together. Okay. So now we're going to talk about building a pick and pack ASN. We can't use max number in a pick and pack like I just mentioned. However, we can use copy and paste or copy and paste special. It works just as fine. So let's go back here to my ASN webinar folder and open up our AFES order. So in the shipment tab, I'm going to open this up. Let's see, I happen to have a carton with 6 items inside. But let's just say I want to have more cartons. I can only fit 1 item per carton for whatever reason. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this level, right-click, and choose Copy. Okay. Next, I'm going to go up to my order level and choose Paste Special. So in this case, I need 5 more copies if I can only fit 1 item per carton. So I'm going to raise the number to 5. I'm going to leave this box checked so that a unique UCC 128 number will be created automatically, and then I'm going to hit OK. So let's give it a minute to think, and you will see here all of my new cartons are available. Now just remember, whenever you use this tool, you need to change the quantities by hand. Okay? But otherwise, it does cut back on time. So this is one way that you can work around the fact that max number doesn't work with a pick and pack. Okay? And the same rules apply for a pallet. If you wanted to use copy paste special to add more pallets, it's really just a matter of highlighting what you want to copy, right-clicking and choosing copy, and then going up to the order level or the pack level, however way that you need to do it. Right-clicking and choosing paste special, and then selecting how many more you want to add. Okay? So now we're going to talk a little bit about consolidating ASNs. So consolidating ASNs is really just, it's the type of function that you would use, let's say, if you have more than one PO and you only want to turn around one ASN. And I'll show you that here. I have multiple Macy's East orders. Look how many I have. I have who knows how many, but I need to turn around one ASN for all of these orders. If I want to consolidate it, there's a setting I need to change. So let's go down to Trading Partners, expand Macy's East, and go to the label setup. So here in the label setup, there is a little box that says Consolidate Transactions. If this box is not checked, I will get a 1-to-1 ratio on my ASNs. If I do check this box, I can highlight all of those orders, hit turnaround, and create one ASN that would cover all of those orders. So I'm going to go ahead and save this change and demonstrate. So let's highlight these orders here, hit turnaround. I'm going to choose, let's choose a pick and pack. Basic pick and pack ASN. Hit OK. This new ASN should appear in my outbox. And there you have it. Let's open it up so you can see all those different orders. So as I collapse these, you see that all of those POs that I highlighted are all in here. This is a consolidated ASN. Now, if I wanted to turn the consolidation feature off, I just have to go back to where I was before in the Trading Partners tab, under the trading partner we're working with, under the label setup, and I uncheck this box and hit save. So now, the next time I create a turnaround using multiple orders, I will get a 1-to-1 ratio. Now we're going to talk about getting your ASN configured for labels. Let's go back to my little ASN webinar folder. So I want to print a label for my AFES Pick and Pack ASN. In order to print a label, there's a few things I need to make sure of. Right here on the main tab, I have a labeling area. I have to choose yes for the Use True Commerce Label Solution. Then I need to choose a Ship To type. Now, in some cases, you'll have more than 2 options, but these are the 2 basic options here. We have Store and Distribution Center. I'm going to choose Distribution Center in this case. And since we're using a Pick and Pack ASN, I'm going to choose a Pick and Pack label type. Now, it doesn't end here. There's a few other things I need to make sure match in order for everything to print on my label. So I chose a distribution center. I'm going to go over to the Addresses tab and check out my distribution center number. Okay, so I'm going to copy that and I'm going to head down to my Trading Partners area and expand AFES and go now to the Addresses tab. So what I need to do is I need to make sure the address that matches that DC code is set to the correct type. So I'm going to show the filter, plug it in, and here we have this address. Now, luckily, it's set to DC. As long as this type in your address matches the type that you've selected on the main tab of your ASN, the Ship To address will print. So again, let's go back. I'm going to show you that one more time. My Ship To type is set to DC. If I had chosen Store and left it this way, my Ship To address would not print on my label. And that is because the address for that EDI code, the corresponding address for that EDI code, is set to DC in the Addresses tab. This has to match what you have in your ASN. Okay? So When you are actually setting up your label, there's a few things that you need to do first. So let's talk about your UCC 128 number. Let's head back down to Trading Partners and go to the label setup for AVs. So we were here before when we were looking at the Consolidate Transactions box. Here is where you put together this number, which will ultimately become a barcode for you. The extension is either 0 or 1, depending on whether you use pallets or cartons. 0 stands for cartons, 1 stands for pallets. In the company number field, when you're just starting out, this is what you will see. It's just a 0 here. This requires your company prefix. You can usually find it if you have an itinerary, an item list of UPC numbers. You'll see that there should be a recurring set of 6 numbers that will ultimately be your company prefix. When you enter it in, you leave the leading 0, and you'll see that your barcode populates up here as you go. The next serial number is really just the next, it's the next number that will be used when a barcode is created, or I'm sorry, when a UCC 128 number is created in your ASNs. This UCC 128 auto create box is really helpful, and I always suggest having it turned on after you configure your number here. This box will ensure that your ASN's UCC 128 numbers will auto-create as soon as you turn it around. If you don't have this box checked, you will have to go in and right-click on every UCC 128 field and have it generate. So this saves time. Keep this box checked. After you're done, you hit save, and then the next time you create an ASN turnaround, those changes will take place. Now we're going to talk about your ship from address, but this actually is, it has to do with the type of labeling solution that you plan on using. So for this, I'm going to switch over to my online, I'm going to switch over to my online instance of Transaction Manager. So let's see. Now, I'm going to go to my business system, click on my company, and go over to the Label Setup tab. So the reason why I'm here is because online users of Transaction Manager have 2 options when it comes to your labeling solution. You have the web-based labeling, which prints to a PDF and doesn't require any installation of the labeling utility on your machine at all. It's just all on the web. You have that option, or you have the on-premise labeling, which is an installed feature on your computer, and it can print to a printer on your desk or across the hall. For those that use our desktop version, the on-premise labeling solution is the only option available. So let's leave it on the on-premise for now and hit save. If you are using the on-premise labeling solution, you need to enter your ship from information within the labeling utility itself. I'll show that to you now. Let's highlight the ship notice manifest pick and pack and hit print label. So what's going to happen is my on-premise labeling utility is going to open. This is, again, installed on my machine. When it pops up, there is one box that contains all of my labels that I'll be printing, and then there's another box directly behind it with the settings that I need to change. So I'm going to hit X for now and go to Tools, Printer Settings. So here is the printer settings for the on-premise labeling utility. I can activate 4 printers of my choosing here. You can do that by dropping down the box and choosing whichever printer you want. You can also give the printer a name, just so you can tell the difference between them when it comes down to when the time comes to select a printer. Now, we came here so that we could set our ship from address. In order to do that, you click Settings next to each printer. In the Settings area, you're going to see fields where you can enter in your ship from address. So even though your ASN may have your ship from data, that is not where the label is going to pull it. This is where the label pulls your ship from address when you are using the on-premise labeling solution. Okay? And you'll want to do that for every printer that you have activated. So you see how these other printers don't have my address yet? If I tried to print using my XPS, the ship from would not appear. Okay, just want to make sure that that's clear. Now let's switch over to the web-based solution so we can talk about where your ship from pools in that case. So here I'm going to choose the web-based, hit save, and try to print that same ASN. Okay, let's hit print label again. So this time, the web-based solution is popping up. It looks similar to the on-premise, but there is a big difference. Here, I have a ship from location drop-down. Okay, these are two different ship from locations that I have created. However, I didn't create them here within the utility like we do for the on-premise. I had to go down to Trading Partners, and I had to go to my trading partner that I'm working with, my test company, and I had to click the label setup. In my label setup, I have a tab. Now this tab only appears when you're using the web-based labeling utility. Here I can enter in default locations. Okay, actually this is probably not the trading partner I'm working with, but you get the idea. Here I can put in my ship from, and I can set this to be default as well. I can have a number of different ship from locations, but just make sure that you know the difference. Okay, so again, your on-premise labeling solution needs your ship from address to be entered in at the printer level. The web-based solution needs your ship from address to be entered at the trading partner level. So again, oh, this was Amazon. So again, if I want my ship from to print, I'm going to go down to Trading Partners. Here we go. Open up the trading partner. Go to Label Setup and click Ship from Locations. This is where my addresses are coming from. Okay, I have set a default, and that default will appear whenever I try to print my label. So one more time, let's hit Print Label. Now that we know where my ship from locations are coming from, that's where I can choose the nickname that I've given it. So I'm going to choose True Commerce. When I hit print, this web-based labeling utility is going to give me PDFs that I can save to my machine. Okay? So that is how you format your ship from address, depending on which type of labeling solution you plan to use. So now You may come across a situation where your label is missing some information. The very first thing any person here at True Commerce would say to you in that case is go back to your ASN and look at it. 9 times out of 10, if something is missing from your label, it's because it's not filled in the ASN. It's important to always keep an eye out for any missing fields that maybe aren't required. You know, it could be that perhaps you need to send a certain detail that the trading partner doesn't require of you. For instance, in this shipment detail tab, I know that there are details missing because of this red X, and I know that those details are required. And these details aren't required by True Commerce, they're required by your trading partner. So again, if something is missing from your ASN, something's missing from your label, dive into the ASN, double check everything, make sure it's all there. Now, if you're ever in a situation where everything's filled in and it's still not printing on your label, we can help. You can reach out to your implementation person or you can reach out to support depending on whether you're testing or in production. And we can help you with that, of course. If your trading partner ever wants you to make any changes to your label, just ask them to send you their specs. Once you get their specs, send it to us and we can create a case for our mapping team to make whatever changes they need. Okay? So that pretty much covers everything. I'm going to open up for any questions. If you are in production, this is our support number and support email. If you're testing, this is the testing phone number and testing email in case you need any kind of assistance in the future. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.